Okay, so this is a quote, the effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of pace on which it may yield to the harmony of the divine mind. I'm going to say that again. The effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base on which it may yield to the harmony of the divine mind. That core nugget thought, the understanding of that brings healing. If we understand that the effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base on which it may yield to the harmony of the divine mind, we're covered. Like, okay, all healing is possible. All good is possible. Every change that we want to see in our life is possible. The thing that gets people stuck is they start believing that the limitations that they've placed on themselves or allowed the world to place on them are real. That's where we get stuck, that somehow we've bought into this thing that we're limited, that we don't have the possibility of health, or we don't have the possibility of good in our life. We don't have the possibility of that relationship that my friend has. That works for her, but I don't have that. I've never had that. BS. And I could use very colorful language here. No. The effect of understanding that all good is possible, that divine love is the norm, that 100% health is the norm of man, that idea, the law behind that idea, is what gives us the ability, the possibility, the window into, the vision of all health is possible. All good is possible. All unity is possible. All communion with those around us is possible. The effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base. What is that change of base? From matter to spirit, from false ego, belief in separation, limitation, we say it all the time, from that perspective to the perspective of the divine, to the perspective that love is all, truth is all. Let me go a little farther. Truth is all powerful, ever present, intelligence. If truth is intelligence and all powerful, doesn't it follow that an understanding of that will shift our thought to a change of base, to accept that, and then work out from that premise? So here's a little scene. There's a person who's in a marriage. The marriage seems to be failing. This goes back to that episode we did called Stop the Beer. Like, you think stuff in your life is dying, like your marriage, your core relationship in your life, or the lack thereof, right? Like, oh, I guess I'll never have that. I'm this old, right? I put it in quotes because no one is that old that, oh, that's not going to happen for me. So here's the scene. Relationship is seemingly dying. Like, they're kind of roommates. They get along, but every now and then they sort of come together and have a good time, but they're mostly just roommates and they kind of exist in the same house. They have their patterns down. They're very congenial to each other. Everything's fine. They help each other out. It's all good. But is it alive? Is it passionate in the sense, yes, physical passion is nice, but passionate in the sense that it's alive. It has that spark of newness. It has the spark of inspiration and life and light and things moving forward and getting better and growing and expanding. Passionate, full of life. Is there that? No. Is that possible? Absolutely. And that's where we sell ourselves short. We sit back and just accept the way things are. And we just accept the limitation that I guess this is as good as it gets. I guess this is all there is for me. No. Who gets to change in that scenario? The external situation? Does the relationship just kind of get better? And then you go, oh, I guess it is possible. No, we change. We shift the basis of our thought rather than sitting in the basis of limitation, all the labels we've placed on it, consciously or unconsciously, and many, many times it's unconscious. We're just accepting what the world has told us is true. Well, I'm here to say you have a choice. You can choose that and just keep going along and keep agreeing with the lie that health declines with age, agreeing with the lie that you're just going to get older and start falling apart. That's BS. It's total BS. The truth is you get better as you go forward. Look at nature. Look at what happens in nature. Look at how progress is the law. Look at how ever expanding understanding is the law. That's what naturally happens. There was a healing I heard last night about a kitty, and there are all sorts of beliefs about kitty cats. If they stop eating, well, they're on their way out. If they stop eating, they're not going to start eating again. This little kitty went and hid behind the couch and hadn't eaten or drunk anything for 3 days. Then it went on to 5 days. And the habit in the household was take them to the vet, rush, rush, rush. There was an introduction of, let's look at this differently. Let's change the basis of thought here to, this is a little creature of God. This is an idea of God. Why can't this little idea of God feel the possibility of life where there seems to be death? Of course they can. Of course they get the memo. We all get the memo. We choose to do something with it or not. Animals are actually wonderful because they're so incredibly receptive. They don't have a lot of that egoic BS going on. Well, guess what? When the parents, and a lot of times it is the individuals in a home where there's a collection of individuals, the individuals in the home that have the highest level of understanding and sort of administration in the home, they're the ones whose thought needs to shift so that the effect of that can flow to those who are being governed by them in the home. That's why there's a passage in Science and Health that talks about when there's a little child who needs help, a lot of times the issue needs to be addressed through the parent's thought. And conversely, be very aware that when animals in your home are being challenged, it's something that we need to shift, that we need to be very alert to, because we're accepting something about the establishment of our home and the basis of our thought that needs to be leveled up to what's real and not keep buying into the illusion of stuff. Anyway, the cat is healed. Everything's good. Cat started drinking water, cat started eating, cat started coming back seemingly from death's door. Stop the beer. So in the relationship story, what's possible? When we allow ourselves to change the basis of our thought, then we can start looking for what's real here, what's possible here, what elements of good do I see? What are the roots of goodness that I see here that I can amplify, that I can build on? The effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base, on which it may yield to the already existent harmony of the divine mind. It may yield to the divine mind, the harmony of the divine mind. So recognize that there is a harmony of divine mind, that divine mind shows us, is the exemplifier of, that doesn't work, is the source of what can be exemplified. When we see that, we start seeing the possibility. We start seeing the little windows of opportunity where we can shift what we've been doing. We can start shifting habits of thought that were based in the old and now rebuilt in the new. The divine mind is supporting us in that process. The effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base on which it may yield to the harmony of the divine mind. So we have that opportunity in there to yield to the harmony of the divine mind. The fixed fact, divine mind harmony, we are now yielding to that. We are dropping the human concept based in the old, based in the false basis, yielding, dropping that, and yielding to the possibility of health, of communion, of abundance, of perfect expression of good, of relationship being healed. There was the individual I'm talking about was a meeting I had last night, and the individual all of a sudden saw something that they had never done in their relationship of, I don't know, like 30 years, that they had never seen their spouse that way. They'd never seen the opportunity to express something in a certain way to their spouse. And I guarantee you, when they start expressing that, there's going to be a whole lot of waking up going on. There's going to be a whole renewed sense of, oh, wow, I see you. I feel seen and I see you. Wow, what a difference. That's what we're talking about. It comes down to those moments. Are we yielding to the harmony of the divine mind, or are we stubbornly holding on to that old view based on a false basis of belief and limitation? I just went totally off in a direction that I wasn't going to go. Okay. There actually was something that came through this morning that I was, okay. So I want to get back, and this actually ties in really well. I want to get back to the idea of the open fount. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. This is actually perfect. That was a perfect setup for this, because the open fount is available to all. Infinite good, infinite source is available in whatever form you need, right? Whatever form we need, it's available. Do you need it in supply of abundance? Do you need it in relationships and feeling connected to other people and feeling a sense of communion? Do you need it in being more disciplined? Do you need it in freedom from pain? Whichever arena you need it in, or all of them, there is an abundant source that is available to you with the answer, with the supply of what you need. So we get to yield to that. We get to yield our limited sense to the abundant sense. We get to make that shift. Are we supported in that shift occurring? Yes. The divine mind, the effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base. So this science, what you're studying, these divine laws, and if you're not religious, that's okay, because these are spiritual laws, not attached to a particular religion. Though there are religions, namely Christian Science, that is most known for it because it's the one that's articulated it. So you can say, yes, this is Christian Science, absolutely. But Christian Science articulates the spiritual laws which are universal, that go beyond sect, society, religion, dogma, all of that stuff. So even if you're not religious, you can still claim it. So that's the good news. Those of you who practice in different ways, totally fine. Don't worry about the labels. This is 1000% inclusive. No one is left out. Kind of like, what is that movie? The Hawaiian movie? Everybody's family, everybody has a place. I'm not coming up with the name of them. It's a Disney movie. It had surfing in it, as I recall. So we get to go to the source, the open fount. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, because the waters are ever flowing. The waters are ever available. And guess what? You can bring as big a size cup as you want to that fountain. You can bring a little thimble and say, oh, well, I only deserve this much. Okay, I'll get my little thimble and I'll go away. And I'll come back next year and I'll get another little thimble and I'll eke out my little thimble a little bit over the year. I'll have a little tiny drop. How many of us do that? How many of us just go to the open fount that is pouring out, that your inheritance is waiting? What is that other phrase about the inheritance? You know, inherit the kingdom prepared for you. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. From the foundation of the world. It's been there the whole time. Your inheritance has been sitting there waiting for you, and you can go claim it. Or you can sit back and go, no, that's not mine. I don't deserve it. I don't, I try, but I'm just not there. All those other people, they're really good at that. I can't. I don't want to show up at the fount. I don't want to show up at the open fount that's pouring forth more than we could ever possibly accept, because I don't know, I don't have the right clothes. I don't have the right hair. I'm not the right size or shape. I'm not the right age. I haven't studied enough. I don't have the right degree. I don't look the right, I look differently than they look. I just want to go shake people and say, really? Seriously? Seriously? You're going to not go to the open fount because of all the BS that's going on? Drop the BS. Drop the BS. I'm going long. All right. There's something else. One moment. Oh, okay. So here's the other connective tissue for this. We've talked about this before, that Christ is the true idea voicing good, the divine message from God to men speaking to the human consciousness. That's what the Christ is. Christ consciousness, Christ truth, Christ, the Spirit of God, the true idea voicing good, the divine message from God to men speaking to the human consciousness. The effect of this science is to stir the human mind to a change of base. See the theme here? We don't have to worry that we don't know enough or we're just human or blah, blah, blah. Stop. Divine mind, the Christ, the true idea of voicing good. It's not voicing limitation. It's not voicing all the BS of the ego, that false ego. It's voicing good. It's voicing, this is your inheritance. This is the open fount. Come and get it. This is available to you. Shift, shift, shift. It's available to all of us all the time, which is now. It's available to us now. All the time doesn't exist. It's available to us now. If we're not accepting it now, we're not accepting it. There is no, oh, I'll get to that later. There is no, let me carve out some time in my calendar tomorrow, and then I'll sit down and I'll really think about this. It's now. It's now or never. You know that expression. And that's actually true because it's now. Now is the appointed time. Now is the day of salvation. Let's put that in current terms. Now is the moment that you get to drop the BS. Now is the time to accept the inheritance that's been given to you. I am on fire today, people. All right, let's bring it in. Just say yes, peeps. Just say yes. Whatever that argument is that started coming up for you, shut it down and say yes to possibility. Say yes to abundance. Say yes to the open fount that is pouring forth more than we can accept. Say yes. Just say yes. And I need to say, because I wasn't saying it as I was going, the quotes that I was quoting are from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. And I always need to give credit because I didn't write this stuff. I just understand that this is really important for the world right now. And I am broadcasting it o'er the land. So there you go. And it is, I have completely missed the fact that this is sort of the end of the month. Oh yeah. So since I didn't sort of open up this to people, feel free, this is actually a really powerful one to share. Feel free to share the recording today with people who might be interested in learning more about these spiritual laws, because I don't want to keep this cloistered to a certain group. I really would love people to know it's available. And if they're interested, great. If they're not, great. Like, I have no design on who shows up, but I do want to reach people who might resonate with this stuff and feel like they're ready to learn more, because it's just so good. And it frees people from the BS. Frees people from the bullshit. Okay. I love you guys. Tomorrow's Friday. Show up with a question. Show up with a desire of your heart. I know you do that every day, but show up tomorrow with a very specific one. And let's see where it goes. All right. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.